Då drar vi igång. Välkommen till ZeroMission seminarieserie. Här har vi under 4 tillfällen delgett perspektiv på vilken roll klimatkompensation har för att nå 1,5 graders målet. Kanske ni har varit med tidigare, då får ni gärna skriva i chatten. Men vi vill också sätta ljuset på hur företag kan använda klimatkompensation som en del i sin klimatstrategi, som ett verktyg i verktygslådan. Och ZeroMission, vi har hjälpt företag med klimatstrategier sedan 2006, där klimatkompensation är en del. Och vi ser företag som en viktig motor i omställningen. Och där behöver planetnytta och affärsnytta gå hand i hand, för nu är det otroligt bråttom att ställa om. Om ni har varit med oss tidigare så kanske ni känner igen det här, men om inte så gör vi en liten recap bara. Att i tidigare delar då har vi gått igenom grunderna om hur klimatkompensation fungerat och svarat på de vanligaste frågorna. Vi har tagit del av 3 olika organisationers erfarenheter, hur de använder det här som en del i sin klimatstrategi. Alltså Max och Örebro pastorat och Menigo. Och sen i del 3, där gick vi igenom olika ramverk som finns för att sätta mål och strategier för att nå netto noll utsläpp. Till exempel Science-Based Target och Science-Based Net Zero Target och ett initiativ som kallas för High Ambition Path. Och alla de här seminarierna är fristående, men vill ni se dem igen så går det bra att ta del av inspelningar efterhand. Och vi spelar även in den här delen som är del 4. Och det här är då den avslutande delen där vi kommer sätta ljuset på behovet av naturliga klimatlösningar. Hur går det här till? Hur skapar vi kolsänkor med naturens hjälp? För träd genom fotosyntesen är ju riktiga koldioxiddammsugare och lagrar det här i sin biomassa. Så vi kommer gå bakom kulisserna på ett helt nytt Plan Vivo-certifierat projekt på Västra Sumatra som kallas för Gula Food Forest. Och det som skiljer sig i det här projektet från våra kanske mer traditionella trädplanteringsprojekt och bevarande av skogar, det är att man använder en teknik som heter Assisted Natural Regeneration. På svenska så kanske det skulle vara assisterad naturlig föryngring. Men man använder helt enkelt metoder för att hjälpa ursprungliga trädplantor att växa till sig som annars konkurrerar med invasiv vegetation. Och här kommer vi få se mer bilder på. Och det här projektet har precis gått igenom valideringsprocessen som har tagit över 2 år för att få bli ett certifierat Plan Vivo-projekt. En standard som certifierar och gör att man kan ställa ut krediter. Så man skulle kunna säga att vi faktiskt gör även en lansering idag som ni får vara med på. Och jag som pratar och modererar heter Johanna Grant och jobbar som klimatstrateg på ZeroMission. Och med mig idag så har jag min kollega Maria King. Och Maria kommer ge en introduktion till naturliga klimatlösningar, den här vetenskapliga bakgrunden, och kanske introducera er för vad som kännetecknar Plan Vivo-standarden om ni inte känner till den sedan innan. Sen har vi 2 hedersgäster. Det är Paul Burgers från den holländska organisationen CO2Coperate, och Paul är liksom grundaren av det här projektet som kommer ta med oss till Västra Sumatra och berätta om kontexten och hur det här fungerar. Och sen är vi glada att ta med oss Ai Farida från den lokala organisationen Rimbo Pangan Lestari, RPL, som koordinerar projektet på plats. Och både Paul och Ai kommer att berätta om hur det här fungerar i praktiken. Varför kallas det för en food forest? Under den här delen så kommer vi swisha om till engelska. Och ni är såklart välkomna att ställa frågor i chatt och i QA på svenska eller engelska, vad som känns lättast för er. Men innan vi drar igång så vill jag ändå ta lite tempen på er och lansera en liten poll. Den här kommer bara synas för er som deltar live här nu, inte om man ser den här i efterhand på inspelning. Men frågan är, har du eller din organisation själv klimatkompenserat genom naturliga klimatlösningar? Ja, nej, men genom andra lösningar. Nej, men vi vill. Ej relevant, beroende på vart man befinner sig. Och det kommer in ett gäng svar här. De flesta av er har faktiskt sagt ja, 58%. Vi tar och avslutar den där, ska vi dela resultaten. Så majoriteten av er kanske redan är lite hemma vid det här området. Eller kanske klimatkompensera genom andra lösningar. Tack för era svar. Och med det så tänkte jag lämna över till dig, Maria. Ska vi få höra mer om
men tack, Johanna.
vetenskapliga delen.
Precis. Då ska vi se. Sådär. Så, ja. Då ska jag bara få upp min skärm här också.
Det ser bra ut i våren i alla fall. Men nu
ja,
har
men
det.
Jättebra. Ja, precis som Johanna sa så ska jag ge lite bakgrund till vad naturliga klimatlösningar är och vad säger vetenskapen om det som är metod att binda kol. IPCCs sjätte rapport som kom tidigare i år, där är man väldigt tydlig med att det inte räcker med att vi minskar våra utsläpp för att nå netto noll. Vi måste parallellt skapa negativa utsläpp, det vill säga vi måste ta bort koldioxid från atmosfären. Men hur gör man det på bästa sätt? Removals eller negativa utsläpp innebär att man tar CO2, alltså koldioxid från atmosfären och lagrar i kolsänkor. Det inkluderar tekniska lösningar såsom DAX och BEX och naturbaserade lösningar, till exempel återbeskogning eller att man återställer våtmarker. Tekniska lösningar kommer troligtvis att spela en viktig roll framöver, men idag så är det inte kostnadseffektivt. Kapaciteten är liten och det kräver en stor mängd energi. Och det är en fråga som pratas mycket om, var ska vi få all energi ifrån när vi ställer om? Därför är naturliga klimatlösningar idag mer ekonomiskt och effektivt. Och det här är även något som IPCC säger i en rapport från 2019, att naturliga klimatlösningar är en av de mest effektiva och robusta metoder att motverka klimatförändringarna. Och samtidigt skapar det här och stärker det ekosystemtjänster som gynnar både samhällen och biodiversitet. Oj, nu hoppade jag iväg här lite grann. Naturliga klimatlösningar har möjlighet att leverera över en tredjedel av de utsläppsminskningar som krävs för att stabilisera uppvärmningen för att vi ska hålla oss väl under 2 grader på ett kostnadseffektivt sätt. Idag täcker jordens kvarvarande skogar endast 30% av jordens yta och de fortsätter att minska i en rasande takt. Skogarna lagrar enorma mängder kol. Dessutom reglerar de klimatet lokalt och globalt. Samtidigt står markanvändningen och avskogningen för cirka en fjärdedel av de globala utsläppen. Så istället för att skogen är en kolsänka som den borde vara så är det den näst största bidragande faktorn till växthusgasutsläpp. Och den mängden skog som gick förlorad i världen förra året släppte ut lika mycket som Indiens totala fossila utsläpp. De flesta jordbruken världen över ägs av småbrukare som också är mest sårbara för klimatförändringarna. Och här har trädplanteringen genom samarbete med småbrukarna en viktig roll att spela för att bidra till klimatmålen. Men träden suger ju inte bara upp koldioxid från atmosfären, de ger oss också en rad andra ekosystemtjänster. Och här på bilden kan ni se några. Vi får ved, virke och andra produkter, medicin, mat, foder till djuren och det skapar bördiga jordar. Men den ger oss också en rad, men lokalt skyddar den också träden mot klimatförändringarna genom att mildra effekten av översvämningar och skugga vid höga temperaturer. Så den gynnar ju även folket lokalt på många sätt. Klimatkompensationsprojekt verifieras mot en standard och på marknaden finns flera standarder, bland annat Plan Vivo, Gold Standard, VCS och Fairtrade. Och strax ska vi få en lite djupare insyn i ett projekt, precis som Johanna sa, där man använder degraderad mark och planterar, där man planterar träd och så hjälper man också existerande små skott som finns gömda i det höga gräset och ger dem en möjlighet att växa till livskraftiga träd. Många av träden är fruktträd som också ger lokalbefolkningen en extra inkomst. Det här är kärnan i Plan Vivo-standarden. Man sätter småbrukaren och uthålligt jordbruk i fokus. Så när ZeroMission väljer skogsprojekt så tycker vi att Plan Vivo är den absolut bästa standarden. Plan Vivo sätter fokus på fattigdomsbekämpning. Pengarna från klimatkompensationen ger småbrukarna resurser att bevara och plantera skog, vilket skapar en kolsänka som gynnar oss alla. Träden bidrar i sin tur också, som jag sa, med mat, skugga och en inkomst till småbrukarna. I Plan Vivo-standarden är det viktigt att projekten inte är toppstyrda utan att lokalbefolkningen, alltså småbrukarna, ska vara ägare av sina projekt. Alla projekten börjar med att landrättigheterna fastställs, för det är viktigt att planteringen sker på småbrukarens egen mark. Man planterar bara inhemska trädsorter och gärna en mix av träd för att ge en bättre resiliens och ökad biologisk mångfald. 60% av varje såld kredit går till småbrukaren och det är viktigt. Och också viktigt är att det finns en transparens i projekten. Ja, det var en liten snabb introduktion till naturliga klimatlösningar.
Tack Maria. Den här bilden med alla ekosystemtjänster är ju faktiskt fantastisk. Att det både kan reducera utsläpp och bidra till den här viktiga klimatanpassningen och så mycket mer. Absolut. Man blir ju liksom förälskad i träd. Men vi har ju, det är ju som en lansering idag och det här projektet ligger ganska långt bort, Indonesien, Västra Sumatra. Och ibland dyker frågan upp, men ska vi inte göra det här på hemmaplan istället? Är det inte bättre att plantera träd i Sverige här hemma än på Västra Sumatra till exempel? Vad skulle du säga om det?
Ja, men det är en jättebra fråga och det är ju en fråga som vi på ZeroMission får då och då från våra kunder som undrar lite grann att kan vi inte ha ett projekt här i Sverige istället? Varför gör man inte det istället för, som du säger, gynna ett projekt på andra sidan jordklotet? Men vi är lite tveksamma till det för att det finns ingen vedertagen standard som de här projekten, eller om man har ett projekt i Sverige, skulle kunna verifieras mot och det är ju jätteviktigt att bli verifierad. Du nämnde ju själv hur långt processen har varit för Gula att bli verifierat. Så det krävs ju ganska mycket och idag finns det ingen sån standard som gör det. Ett annat viktigt kriterie i klimatkompensation det är ju additionalitet. Och det betyder ju då att de klimatkompensationspengar som man köper krediter för, eller som man köper krediterna, det måste göra nytta, en skillnad. Det här projektet skulle inte ha skett om inte man hade fått in inkomsten från klimatkompensationen. Och idag har vi ju ett kommersiellt skogsbruk som regleras av svensk lag idag så att det är lite svårt att hitta den här typen av projekt i Sverige. Men låt säga att man gjorde det, att man faktiskt kunde hitta, man skapade ett skogsprojekt i Sverige där man planterade och bevarade skog och att det blev ett hållbart jordbruk. Så är det ändå några saker man måste tänka på. Träden växer mycket fortare i tropiska klimat så att det tar längre tid här i Sverige för att träd ska bli vuxet och binda kol. Och det blir dyrare både på grund av det och sen är det ett dyrare läge i Sverige. Så att för en ton, en kredit, de pengarna gör större nytta, binder mer kol i ett tropiskt klimat. Du får mer för pengarna helt enkelt. Och sen så får man titta på mervärden också, det här med fattigdomsbekämpning till exempel. Alla fina mervärden som sker i de här projekten skulle bli större eller blir större i tropiska klimat.
Precis, det är det jag själv tycker är givande, att man jobbar med de mest sårbara och hjälper dem.
Ja men precis, och det skyddar ju mot klimatförändringarna också, med effekterna av klimatförändringarna lokalt.
Sen är det rätt träd på rätt plats, vi behöver ju mer träd som du sa, 1/3 så står för lösningen. Vi fick en fråga här i chatten, gäller samma sak i hela EU? Huruvida det finns en standard?
Så vitt jag vet så finns det inte någon standard som jobbar inom EU med trädplanteringsprojekt. Men det finns ju absolut projekt som gör det, men vi på ZeroMission känner inte idag i alla fall att det är någon standard som är trygg nog att luta sig mot för att vi ska vilja jobba med den typen av projekt.
Men vi stannar där och får tacka dig för den här inledande presentationen. And then I will switch over to English and welcome Paul Burgers from CO2Coperate. and also say congratulations to this milestone. We just talked here in Swedish about how you gone through this long process of validation in order to have these credits ready.
All right.
So you're going to take us to West Sumatra.
Yes, I will. Yes. I can start. All right.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you all for inviting me, and thank you all for being with us and listening to our story in West Sumatra. So I will later on talk a bit about the field work, the actual work in the field. I will give a bit of a background, how we started and how we are setting up the project. Yeah, how did we start? Wait, I can make it bigger, right? Yeah. So I've come from a very different background. I've been working in the academic world as a researcher. First, I've been working for over 7 years with the World Agroforestry Center, seconded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, working for 2.5 years in Zimbabwe, in Southern Africa, with projects also in Zambia and Malawi, with a typical Dutch topic on small-scale dairy farming. After that, I moved to Indonesia, spent 4 years in the field in Indonesia, doing research on why a farmer would plant a tree, why they would set up agroforestry systems. That resulted in a PhD in Utrecht University. So I stayed on until 2016, spent my last 2 years in Wageningen, but in the meantime, I started to build up my business, Cooperate, because I was not happy to present all my findings in seminars and not improving any lives of the farmers in Sumatra. So I thought I have to do something. I have to change from talking into practice. So that's what I did. In 2016, I moved out of the academic world and became a full-time businessman in Cooperate and setting up the projects in Indonesia. So where do we work in Indonesia? We have a site in West Java, focusing on Arenga palm sugar, which is a forest species which produces really nice palm sugar. We have a new site recently set up in West Timor. And today we will talk about our flagship project in West Sumatra, the black era, the black pin. So what do we do? So as Maria said, we also look at transparency. It's very important. So all our activities are made transparent on a site called explorer.land. You can check later on if you want. Oh, now it's not working, of course. We will have this 3D image soon ready as a standard procedure. So every client will get this. If they join our project, they will get a special link into their website with this kind of layout. So every dot and number, these are all farmers working on restoring the degraded hillsides in West Sumatra. If you want to have a look, it's on explorer.land and then check for VCM project. So if you see this happy farmer, then you are on the right spot. That is our project. And you can have a look at updates and stories and everything. Yeah, the Gula Food Forest Program. A holistic approach. Maria just mentioned that 24% of the greenhouse gas emissions come from land use change and deforestation, while Indonesia, it's by far the highest cause for greenhouse gas emissions, with over 70% of the emissions coming from deforestation and inappropriate land use systems. So that's what makes our project also high priority in Indonesia. What we do is we build up the forest, the Gula food forest, using assisted natural regeneration. We also help the farmers processing the products, which are now coming out because we started 10 years ago, and we will buy the products at good prices and sell worldwide, and especially in Europe. Ai will talk about that later. So what's the context where we are working? In the past, starting in the colonial Dutch times, of course, unfortunately, deforestation started on the hillsides. Many of the wood was used for the coal mining at that time. This has gone on for many, many decades. Also farmers trying to survive and getting enough income for the family have developed land use systems which may not always have been very appropriate, like maracuja, which is a very monoculture type of plantation, cutting down all the trees. Everything that can grow naturally is gone. Same for cloves, which have been monoculture plantations in the past planted by farmers. So diseases have caused all these activities to be destroyed, leaving farmers behind with nothing. And then these grasses, these barren hills, are very susceptible to fires, wildfires. So when all these wildfires occur almost every year, a forest cannot grow back, and you will end up with these kind of landscapes completely gone, no trees, because seeds that are germinating are burned every year. So in the end, the trees cannot come back. But we took up the challenge in 2012. We were asked by the Food and Agriculture Organization to start testing a concept called assisted natural regeneration. So that means we are assisting the natural regeneration of forest. So this is a bit how a forest usually regenerates after a shrub phase or grass phase. Seeds in between, if nothing happens, can germinate. The first pioneer species will develop. That will give way and shade and room for more forest species to develop, which needs some shade in the beginning, and that will grow together into a big new forest. But as I said, fires that come in every year will destroy all these phases, and in the end, the climate vegetation will remain grassy vegetation. So as an infographic, what do we do? The only thing we are using with the farmers is a wooden plank. We press the grass, and anything that is in between, like small trees or whatever survives and can grow into a perennial crop, we will protect it. So by pressing the grass, we give light and shade. We give light to the trees that can grow easily, so there's no more competition from the weeds. We have a special setup, usually together with farmers, where we look at crops that can be harvested quickly, like lemon trees can be harvested in 1-2 years. We have a coffee planted also. We have very fast growing coffee trees, which can already start to be harvested after 1-2 years. And then the other trees are growing. Clove trees are planted in between. They will be harvestable after 4 to 5 years. Fruit trees, so it's all mixed together, and after 5 years we will end up with quite a thick, productive food forest where a farmer can harvest all kinds of products, which is also good for a farmer, because if the price of one product declines, he doesn't really mind, because he still has other products that he can live from, and the fruits can provide food. So this is how we developed, and this was also part of my PhD study. So I combined my findings of my PhD work with the work with FAO. Now, how does it look like? It's very simple. It's indeed literally what I said. Just use a plank, a wooden plank, and a piece of rope, and you start pressing your grass. So very easy to do. Even the poorest farmers can join our project. There's no hurdle to get into. Everybody has a piece of wood. If not, then the neighbor can provide one. And they're into business. They can join with our activities. As you can see on the right, after pressing here, this is some of the trees that farmers protect that were already growing in between, but finding it hard to survive. So by pressing, you give them light, and these trees will start to grow very fast, as we found out, because they have already developed a good root system. And this is already, the carbon is already being sequestered very quickly from the beginning. Other advantage of pressing the grass is it provides a very good isolation blanket. So no solar radiation will go to the soil, so it will remain very moist under this grass, which is beneficial for tree growth again, and it also speeds up the decomposition of the grass. And you can see here, after when you take out some of the grass from below, it's already giving a good layer of humus, and then this carbon will be added to the soil, and which is good for water retention capacity and is also good for fertility. So in that sense, nature does all the work for the farmers, so they don't have to do anything. It all works by itself. It has also economic benefits, because we found out that this practice of assisted natural regeneration is very cost effective, where they only need a wooden plank and a rope. It's labor effective. Farmers are saying it's very easy to do with the family, so they don't need to spend money on hiring labor to really, make the land free from the weeds, which is no longer needed. They can benefit from the existing species that are already there, because they provide a kind of shade which is beneficial for the planted agroforestry trees that will be done after 2 years. Yeah, and even the poorest farmers can join this technology. So if you look at this area, you can see this hill here. It's the same hill, so we're not taking pictures from different areas. This is how we started. On the left top, it's a very degraded area. The grass, it's a bit far away, but this is the alang-alang grass, as you saw before, was being pressed. Trees were protected that were already there. You can see here, year 1. These are the trees that were trying to survive in between the grass, so we give them light. They start to grow quite fast, so this already provides a fast carbon pool within 1 to 2 years. After 2 to 3 years, these small trees are the ones that were growing already naturally, so you can see they already becoming quite big, and they provide a nice kind of shade and a lower temperature for farmers to plant useful trees in between. So farmers decide what they want to plant. Usually here, these are clove trees. They can be planted in all the gaps that are still there. And fruit trees that they choose, they will also plant there. And you can see already here where the shade is quite thick, that it's outshading the weeds and the grasses. So again, no need for a farmer to do weeding, because nature takes care of the weeding once these trees are growing. And then this grows together into a forest, like here in year 7. You can see how it looks nowadays. And we have a lot of monkeys now walking around. We've had the visits of the Sumatra tiger, who walks from one forest patch here to the other, using our sites to be in a protective layer to walk around. We have deer, we have snakes, of course, owl, we have everything. A lot of animals already coming back into this area, which used to be highly degraded. So what is our impact so far? This is only West Sumatra. Our site in Timor is a similar size. So we already have about 64,000 tons of CO2 sequestered in our trees. We have at least 270,000 trees planted, but these are not planted trees, but these are actually growing. So there's a big difference between tree planting programs and what we are. We are a tree growing program. We make sure the trees survive. So what we plant, they survive. If it dies, we will replant. So it's about 526 soccer pitches, so almost 300 hectares of food forest has come back in these degraded areas. We have a lot of biodiversity coming back. And we have about 308 families now, at least, but it's already growing, so it's already going above 400, who are now getting, our goal is at least to give them at least the minimum wage that they can earn from the tree crops. So that is our impact so far. And that's all I had to say. I hope I stick within the 15 minutes.
Yes, and it's so amazing to see those before and after pictures. It's living in Sweden, it's hard to comprehend how fast they can grow. Just in 3 years, you saw the difference from the little seedling to an actual tree.
Yeah,
And
the advantage is we don't have a winter in Indonesia, so
yeah,
the trees grow the whole year round, so that's why.
but
It
it's
goes-
quite the difference in land use methods here, when that you can actually see the effect from a change in land use behavior and how our human can affect the environment like this.
Yes.
And I wonder, we're gonna let in Ai soon also, but it is a kind of behavior change in the land use methods. But what would you say are the key aspects to create that behavior change?
Yeah, you know, in the beginning, the traditional practice is indeed to really, to plow the land completely, make it a barren land, and then start planting trees. So there was a big change in explaining to them, well, you just press the grass, leave the grass as it is. So that was when we did this with FAO, farmers were very skeptical, said this will not work because we've done this for a generation and this cannot work. But then they saw it was very effective and it was saving them a lot of time. And so that was for them, I think, the main, light shining in their mind. Also for me, because I was also skeptical in the beginning, thinking, would this work, this kind of technology?
Mm-hmm.
And they say, well, this is very easy for us because this uprooting of the grass is very hard work. And even if you do the uprooting, the grass come back very quickly. And then we hardly find a winning method to beat this grass. But now with this ANR, they say we just press 3 times in 1 year. And then the trees grow, and then the shading and the natural processes do the work, and it's gone. And so that's where they now see it has economic benefits, it has labor advantages. And now they are really convinced that this is a good practice.
Yeah.
Instead of sweating all day long and uprooting all the grass, and then 2 weeks later it's coming back.
Yeah.
And they start all over again, they said.
Both Maria and I are hobby gardeners, and a trendy thing in Sweden is called täckodling, when you use the grass, old grass, and you cover the plants and creates a good environment. But thank you, Paul. And I will invite Ai, who actually is located in Indonesia and West Sumatra and running the project on the ground. We're very interested to hear from you how that works hands-on.
Okay, thank you, Johanna. So I will share my screen now.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, actually. I'm sorry, because good afternoon in our time. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me as representing Rimbo Pangan Lestari. Today, I will share a little bit of our experience to conduct food forests to support ecosystem restoration and community economic resources in Singkarak River Basin, West Sumatra, Indonesia. Well, we are Rimbo Pangan Lestari is a local organization. We founded in 2016. Our main partner now is CO2Coperate BV and also Gula Forest from the Netherlands. And also we work a lot together with local partners from the government, local government, as well as local NGO and social enterprises, as well as local university. So how do we involve local community? As a start, we are trying to identify the potential and eligible area. We have certain land criteria to be able to join the program. And also we identify the local stakeholders, start to have discussion with them, introducing the program to the community and the farmers through the community meetings. we also explain what is the benefit to them if they are join this program, not just economic benefit, but also how they can also participate in keeping sustainable environment. And then we start also discussing what type of tree they would like to plant in their land if they would like to join this program, and also explaining that we are going to have the agroforestry system for the program, and then they can choose what type of agroforestry system they would like to have in their land. In some village, we have coffee-based agroforestry systems, while in other places, we also have cinnamon and clove agroforestry system. For example, in one area, we have cinnamon agroforestry system. It means that we have cinnamon tree as a main tree for the area, and it's mixed with other type of fruit tree and also timber type of trees. Then we also set a number of trees that should be planted in of every hectare of area. Then also we support and facilitate the farmer group formation if the village doesn't have the farmer group yet. Then we come to the mapping the potential area. This is just zoom in what Paul already show you on the 3D videos. So together with farmers, we are mapping the farmer land. The land in this project, in the program, is belong to individual family in traditional Minangkabau system. So our activity is not part of the state forest land. Then this mapping result, we put it in Explorer land as an open source information of the program that you can find. If you zoom in, you can find every farmer's land area who joined the program and also what type of tree they have in their land. Yeah, the next one, we are also involved in a community in establish the nursery for the area. We support the nursery activities such as seedling, maintenance, and also the management of the nursery. This is all done by the farmers group. And we also give them technical assistance for this nursery activity, such as quality control and also quality control of the seedling growth and performance. So far, for this program, we have 2 nurseries run by the farmers group and 1 nursery managed by RPL to fulfill the need of tree shielding for the program. After, when we have all clear and set, then we will sign the contract with farmers. In our program, it is normally 5 years contract for farmers. They will get some benefit in terms of incentive to plant and maintain the tree in the land. And the most important rule for them actually is that they're not allowed to cut down the trees during the contract, but they can harvest the product of the trees during that period. So yeah, after the contract, and then when the seed is ready, then we will plant it, the trees, and then we start the tree distribution to the farmers, and they will try to plant the tree in the land. We also do monitoring of the tree in the farmers in regular basis. Normally, we are doing monitoring for every 3 months, and we also involve farmers to do this tree monitoring. And to support them during the period of contract, we also doing regular community meeting with farmers and the farmers group to support and update them with the tree planting and maintenance activity. We also support the technical assistance for them, such as fertilizing, coffee pruning time, harvest time, and etc. And another part is to support tree carbon measurement for Gula forest food program by measuring certain tree parameters to calculate the carbon stock for the area. Next one is about food forest product business development. So we also support and help farmers for the after harvesting product for their food forest products such as coffee, clove, as well as organic fertilizer for the farmers. And on this slide, you will see we have help farmers to enhance their knowledge and skill by having farmers training on best practice for their garden, for the coffee garden. We work together also with local cooperation who specialize in coffee planting and processing. Then we also help to setting up the UV house for coffee bean processing. So the farmer will get training how to do the coffee processing before they can sell in it. Then through Gula forest program also, then we are trying to link the farmer group with the potential coffee buyer. For now, we are already get some purchasing order for what 150 kilogram Robusta coffee to be sent to the Netherlands by the end of this year. Then the other product is biocomposting unit. Since we have a high amount of demand for fertilizer for our farmers, then we are setting this biocomposting unit to produce the organic fertilizer. The idea is that our farmers who join the program will be able to get the biofertilizer with a cheaper price as subsidized for them. Then this is also all done by the member of the farmer group to do the biocomposting processing as well as business management side of this unit. And other thing is that since this biocomposting unit is located in a highly intensive horticulture area, so this is also kind of a good opportunity for farmers group to also sell this fertilizer to other farmers in the surrounding area. So in this case, RPL support in linking farmers group to local buyer of this organic fertilizer. And the last one of our food forest product is making use of the clove leaf to make it into essential oil. One of our program is clove-based agroforestry system. Then we are trying to have additional economic value from the clove by processing the leaves to become essential oil. So the farmer will get more benefit, not just from harvesting the clove, but also make use of the leaf. So we make the essential oil from the fallen leaf from the farmer's garden. As a start, before we have a small pilot of distillation unit for this processing, then now we are improving the infrastructure of the distillation unit to get more effective and cost efficient to produce the essential oil. Then other thing, we also process to reach Indonesian national standard for this clove essential oil, so we can get better quality and price. This is all done by the farmers group in the village, and also they are doing co-management and the co-ownership of this distillation unit. In this case, RPL also support activity by linking it to local buyers. We already succeed to sell several kilos of clove leaf oil from our distillation unit to Fun Aroma, which is a local essential oil buyer in West Sumatra. Hopefully, with the new improvement of this distillation unit, we will be able to produce more clove oil and meet the national standard. I think that's all a very brief description of our work from Singkarak River Basin, West Sumatra, Indonesia. Thank you very much for your time, and I give it back to you, Moderator Johanna. Thank you.
Thank you, Ai. And we can welcome Paul as well. How do you say thank you in Indonesia?
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. I'm just curious, the name Gula in Swedish, it means almost yellow. What does it mean in the local language?
UI language.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, Gula in bahasa Indonesia is mean sugar or something sweet. So it's something that children very like. So sweet, gula gula, it means sweet.
He thinks.
Yes.
And that's why our designer developed this kind, who is, of course, in Holland. We have many people from Indonesia. So he was mixed Indonesian. So he said, that's why he came up with Gula Gula. He said, because he looked at the project and he said, it's such a sweet project, such a nice project. So that's why it became the Gula Gula food forest.
Wow. And the food aspect of this project, it's amazing that you already secured buyers for the coffee in the Netherlands and created a market for the club, in Swedish nejlika.
Okay.
Do the farmers, how does it increase the food security for the farmers as well? Or are they selling?
Yes, because now, yeah, this is the coffee is now the first start, of course. That's why we are getting 200 kilos to start testing and making a nice mélange, a good taste for the European market. The advantage is because they do local processing, they will get a much higher price for the beans, because before they were just selling it raw to middlemen and getting a very, very low price, not even interested in many cases for farmers to sell the coffee. Because there are quite a lot of farmers who have coffee trees, but they're not harvesting it, or maybe sometimes only for themselves, because the price is so low. But now we have added the processing and the drying, so the price will be double. And that money is, of course, spent in the family, and yeah, food can be bought from that. Children can go to school, and so that now makes it more interesting. So there are some farmers already not in the program who see that processing unit, and they getting interested in harvesting their coffee trees now. So it is now spreading. Now it becomes more of an economic advantage. Yeah, and fruit trees that they have, yeah, they can eat the fruits, and then yeah, farmers were telling me, said, yeah, there's so many fruits that we give it away to neighbors, and so in the village everybody can collect. They put up a table quite often outside. Farmers can come and grab a mango or durian, or yeah, durian still good income, but mangoes or other fruits are just given away, and the rest of it, they say the monkeys can have some as well, because we have enough.
Yeah. We have two questions in the Q&A here, and one is very practical. How often do you need to press the grass? Is it just once, or do you need to go over the same space repeatedly?
Yeah. Shall I answer, Heidi, or now what we've done in the past with FAO, we've been monitoring this. So usually it's 3 times in 1 year. So the first time is the biggest one, but then about 50% only will come back. So the second pressing is half the work. And then the third one, maybe 10% still tries to survive. So that's just 1/3 of 1/4 of the time needed for the last pressing. And then usually it's they don't press anymore. So they have quite often a cutter that they just keep track of it. Whenever one grass tries to be stubborn, then they can just cut it with a knife or a cutter.
Well, and it's quite hilly and steep, as we saw in the pictures. So
yeah, so they start from up the hill and then they go down.
Okay.
Then it's
Well,
also the pressing is much more efficient, because you go down the hill, so you press.
Yeah.
You crack the grass really well. Yeah.
And we are very used to at ZeroMission, seeing as we're working with tree planting projects and nature-based climate solutions, the aspect of permanence, because the tree sequester carbon, but it could burn down or be cut down, and it can release carbon. And that's one of the questions here. Is tree planting a short-sighted way of sequestering carbon from a planetary perspective? What are your facts and thoughts on I guess, securing permanence in the project?
Yeah, for me, maybe I can add some. For me, because that's why we also select agroforestry trees and with the farmers, which only make value to them by letting them grow. So they harvest the fruits, they harvest coffee. So if they cut down the trees, then they will not have any benefit anymore. So that's how we think we can have permanence, because the farmers only get the benefit from harvesting close by letting the trees grow. And we have, of course, the timber trees, which will be cut down after 20 years, but farmers are planting it for their grandchildren. That's what they tell us. So we plant those trees as a saving for my grandchildren. So that's why they also are not really cutting down those trees, because they don't depend on those trees for their income, and they get the income from the products.
So you're creating a
something
food and a forest economy, that the trees are part of the everyday economy.
Yes, maybe the fires, Ai, do you think that, because we have no fires anymore, right?
Yeah, after before, if you see the Pakpol's pictures on a hilly area, they are very prone to the fire every year, especially for dry season. But after using this method by repressing, and then trees start growing, so less fire risk in this area. And also, just want to add it a little more. When we start the area for this program, we are like really choosing not to cutting the tree. So we are not, we are not like clearing the area for our project, no. But we are trying to look for a very open and critical area, and then we store from that. So we are not cutting the existing tree to do this program. So that's also.
And do you work with a risk buffer as well as part of the Plan Vivo standard?
Yes, we have official 16% buffer.
So 16% of the carbon that is stored cannot be sold as carbon credits.
Yeah.
It's a security measure.
That's true. And every tree that dies, we will replant, because we have the big nurseries and farmers can collect the new seedlings from there whenever there's a tree eaten by termites, or maybe we have now in the 10 years that we are working, we have one farmer recently who got some trouble with fire, but that's half a hectare, so I think that's quite low. And Plan Vivo also said, wow, that's quite amazing that you have so little fire damage. And farmers also see, because the project was starting, so I said, well, but everything is coming back, even areas where we are not working, you can see trees coming back, and they say, yeah, it's because of the project, because farmers are now very careful with the area. So they do a lot of smoking, of course. Kritik smoking is that they don't throw away the cigarettes anymore. So everybody's now also taking care of the area by not making sure it doesn't burn. Yeah.
And we saw the before and after pictures. How long would you say does it take to store 1 ton of carbon, or to for the trees to sequester the carbon? Is that easy to answer?
Well, I think it's really dependent of the type of the tree. Yeah, for example, from some literature, some kind of fruit trees is better in sequestrate the carbon rather than timber tree. It's really specific to the type of trees. That's also why when we choose the type of tree for our agroforestry system, we also consider that stock also. Yeah.
But for the Plan Vivo, we have 11 different kinds of agroforestry systems certified. And that was why it also took a long time, because this was a very new approach to Plan Vivo, because the farmer is in the front seat in our project. So you find farmers, almost every farmer has a different layout of their land, because this one prefers mango trees, the neighbor wants to have durian trees, and so we had to come up with a kind of solution how to make all these differences into a kind of general system. So, but we ended up with 11.
Okay,
So
11
also,
different tree species.
So some areas, like the coffee systems, they sequester about 230 tons of CO2 over the life cycle. But the clove is a very low carbon sequestration tree. So those clove-based systems have about 180. So that's why we have a big mix. But now we see we have covered almost everything. So the new farmers that are coming, they always choose one of these 11 that we have.
And I wonder also, seeing as you've been working for 10 years and only recently gone through the validation to sell credits from the project, could you say something about the additionality, the core criteria in the carbon offset world? In what way is this additional?
Okay. So we started already selling carbon credits from the beginning, but uncertified ones. But apparently the companies were happy with what we were doing. So they said, yeah, just go ahead and we'll just use it for our communication that we are investing in this project. But then, of course, knowing that the market was growing, and I thought, well, it gives us more opportunities if we get the certification done. So that's when we started to work with Ai and everyone to get this certification done. So additionality, you like to answer, Ai? You know also about this, instead of me talking a lot. So what I can say, because Ai maybe doesn't have the latest report, that the grass is about 5 tons of carbon per hectare. And then the trees are planted, and Ai is also our carbon specialist a bit, so I should not talk about her shop.
And we're running out of time, but shortly, wish we had more time, but I think we have to wrap up. And I wonder, there are interested people here. We already got questions here in the QA. What does it cost, and when will you sell the credits? What do you have any last greetings to the participants here listening?
You go first, Ai.
Is even hard one than presentation, you know. the wrapping statement, yeah. Yeah, well, hopefully that we are our work here in a small area and a hilly area of the highland of West Sumatra can help something to we participate in something to help to build a better climate and a better environment for us. I think that's all, and Johanna.
All right. Maybe I should not mess up that nice words of you. All I can say, I hope everybody who's interested, please join our work and buy our carbon credits.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
And we have, I see now, I've been looking at the Q&A, but I see we also have questions in the chat, and we can get back to you and answer these afterwards. But thank you for both you who have listened, the engagement, and also for your presentation and being with us today, Ai and Paul. We're launching this now.
Yes.
So how did I say that? Terima kasih.
Yeah, terima kasih.
Okay.
Tack.
Thanks a
Tack,
lot.
right?
And I
Tack.
will switch back to tack.
Tack. Yeah.
And I'll switch back to Swedish now, because det här var allt vi hann med på den här timmen. Som sagt, man önskar man hade mycket mer tid med er och mig och Paul. Men vi kommer återkomma till er med en inspelning av det här seminariet, och är du intresserad av de här krediterna eller kaffet eller de andra produkterna från projektet, så får jättegärna höra av er till oss. Vi har precis uppdaterat vår hemsida där man kan läsa mer om projektet. Nu är det ute, första krediterna i Sverige. Och ni får jättegärna fortsätta följa oss på LinkedIn och ta del av vårt nyhetsbrev för att fortsätta ta del av våra seminarier bland annat och mycket mer. Så tack så jättemycket. Så ses vi.